Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. Today is our daily color. We are starting off the week with this beautiful, very abstract floral page that I am going to color 9 sets of pencils on. What I've done to start us off is pulled 3 sets of professional pencils. So we're going to do as much as we can of the Polychromos, Light Fast, Derwent Light Fast that is, and my Holbeins. So I have pulled the pencils for those. The largest image is going to be done first, and it could take the whole 45 minutes, very possibly. So we're on episode 168 because I slipped in a 167, which is the first look at my final 30 Erogeton pencils that I got today. They weren't supposed to come till Wednesday, and I got them early. So I have picked 4 different color tones. I will give you a peek at some scratch paper where I was putting them together. It's basically a yellow, a blue, purple, and red. I based my color selections on what I had available with the smallest set of pencils that I own, and that is the Holbeins. So I started with the Holbeins, but today, because I have the final set that I put together were the Polychromos, and that's going to be this very large flower, I am going to go ahead and start with that first. So there will be some repeats on these bigger flowers. I am going to do 2 different areas with the yellows. I haven't decided yet, because these images are so large and spacious, that I may try a couple of different ways of coloring in these spaces, because there are like a bazillion petals. What feels to me like a bazillion petals. I had a hard time finishing my samples. I probably have not shared this with you guys yet. I am a very bad repeat crafter. I have made cards for years, and I get bored after maybe 3 cards that are identical, and I even have a hard time making 2 cards identical. I'm always wanting to switch things up. So what I found when I was doing my little mock-up, coming up with my color families, I did like 3 petals one way, and then 3 more petals a different way, and then that's enough. That's how I know it, so I never even really decided which way I would prefer to do the petals. So it is possible that I will take each of these little artistic floral elements and I might play with them like I would just trying out some different things. Because honestly, I haven't really narrowed down on my mock-ups what I want to do. It's like I like it this way and I like it the other way. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it. The important thing for me is that I'm coloring and I'm making it fun and relaxing and not stressing about it. So that's when I went, you know what? I'm just not even going to finish 100%. I am going to just enjoy what I've got. And if I choose to change it up in the middle of doing a flower, I am just going to go ahead and allow myself to do that. So, Polychromos, I have you were seeing the 4 color families. I went, the least amount of pencils is the yellow. There are 4. I might even, with the yellow for the Light Fast, I might just leave it 2. Because the Light Fast is this flower here, and the only thing I have pegged to be yellow is this little tiny dot. So we'll see if I end up, but I did pull 4. The Holbeins I have them in a tiny 50 slot zipper case. So all I did when I decided those, I actually did that in bed last night. So I flipped the pencils the other direction. And that's what I've done, and they're still sitting in the case. So this really is an exercise in blends. It is going to be fun for me to put these professional pencils to the blending test because I have never used them this way. And the set of reds, pretty much only one of them has been sharpened. And I know there are people who swear by the fact that they say you need to sharpen your pencils because there might be a wax finish on them. Most of these professional pencils have only been used for doing animal portraits. And so there's, you know, the browns, grays, whites, and blacks are all that have ever been used. Maybe a little bit of a light pink or a cinnamon on the nose. So I am really excited to dig into my professional pencils. So many of them were not even sharpened. I will say that these yellows actually were pretty well sharpened. And see, I'm playing with the blend, getting that darker color to come out because I just don't want to be rushed. I'm going to get as far as I can get. So don't be surprised if I'm still finishing up this one flower at the end of 45 minutes. I forgot to share with you the colors, so I will share the 4 colors right now. The lightest one, light cadmium yellow 105. Notice these are the ones that I have my little numbers on, so I can read them. Dark cadmium yellow 108. What's ironic is that that is not, okay. The lightest is light cadmium yellow. I should put these all together. I'm not very organized. Clearly. Okay. 4 pencils, rotating them. I did also make an interesting discovery about the polys that I am curious. Okay, here we are. We can see them all. I can actually read these today. Isn't that funny? Light cadmium yellow 105. Naples yellow 185. Dark cadmium yellow 108. And dark chrome yellow 109. They are all light fast rating of 3 stars. I'm going to grab this pink. Notice, that's a 3-star as well. That's a 2-star. I'm going to save that one because that one. So, light fast rating of 3-star is higher. I just wanted to figure out what the difference was. And I don't know what the exact light fast ratings are of these. So, I am officially finished with the yellow. Nope, not finished with the yellow. I am going to use the second darkest and the darkest for the little stitched button in the middle. So I am using 2 of the blend combos in 2 places. This is the first combo, it's the yellow. I am now going to move on to the biggest chunk of work that we're going to have, and that is my blending light to dark combination of blue is 6 pencils. From the lightest light I could find to the darkest dark. So, light cobalt turquoise 154, light phthalo blue 145, phthalo blue 110, Cobalt Blue 143, Indian Throne Blue 247, and Dark Indigo 157. I am going to try to hold all 6 of these in my hand. I have sharpened all of these. Most of them had been sharpened. I think I've used them on backgrounds before, doing skies. So I am going to get a petal going here. Going from darkest to lightest. I will tell you that on my copy paper that I did my mock-up felt completely different than this smooth Small Victories paper. I'm on my 3rd one. Starting out with light layers, this will be my challenge, is to see if I can keep everything smooth as can be. 4th. Yeah, and that seems darker. Huh. Definitely isn't the barrel. So when I did my mock-up, I felt that I ended up with too much light, as in the lightest color. So this is my attempt at fixing that without actually doing a mock-up of it. So far, I like it much better. I am now just going to walk back the other direction from this lightest one that I've just finished, and I am going to do another layer heading toward the darkest. From the lightest to the darkest, this is the 2nd one. I have a little bit, see where I went too dark with, in fact, I think it was this one. So I have to do a little work to get it all to even out. I am trying to finish this in 2 goes. So I'm just cleaning up my edge there with the lightest blue, skipping that middle blue, going right on to the 3rd blue. Okay, going to the 4th blue. I am using what I would consider to be medium pressure. Small ovals. These are officially the pencils that I've owned the longest. I bought them in 2018. I don't think we've actually had 2 fifth wheels, and I don't think I had these in the first fifth wheel. but I might have to revisit that. And the order that I bought my first sets of pencils back then was, I'm just trying to clean this up. Albrecht Dürer first. I bought the 60 set. I bought them to replace, see, so this might have been the first trailer. I bought them, I'm trying to envision, because from the first fifth wheel to the second, the seating versus the kitchen flip-flopped. Okay, so that I've cleaned up this whole end. Now I'm going to go dig into the second darkest, Indian Throne Blue, and then go to the darkest last. I do like this color gradation better than my mock-up. It was a bit of a gamble there. So after I bought the Albrecht Dürers, I might have even had those, maybe I got those in 17 and had them, knowing that I wasn't going to be bringing along any messy paints, glitter, or anything like that in the trailer. That was going to be a no-go for me. I'm already messy enough. Darkest. Darkest is dark indigo. It wasn't too long after I had the Albrecht Dürers that I discovered doing tutorials, and that the first tutorial that I did was a Chris Chen how to color an eye. And I may have said this, but I'm not sure. I was born with a birth defect. Well, actually, as I've grown up, there was more than one birth defect. But the big one that was apparent to all was the fact that my left eye was not developed. So I'm going to call that pedal good, and I'm just going to repeat, rinse and repeat. And we'll see how good I do and how bored I get. Okay, so left eye was born. They didn't really notice immediately that it was not developed. But soon after I was born, they did make that discovery, and I guess I got to spend some time at Swedish Hospital in Seattle getting tested. And I don't think there was ever, as far as I know, Mom, if you're watching and listening to the sound, I know she watches my videos in colors in her version of Small Victories. Mom, if you knew what they diagnosed me with, let me know, because as far as my recollection is, there was just no thing that caused it. It was just, a deformed eye. It had no pupil. It had a cloudy surface finish, and it did not track. It tracked a little, but it mostly tracked inside, so it kind of looked like a lazy eye until you got up close enough, and then it was clear there was something wrong. So I have always liked to draw eyes because of it. I have spent hours and hours in the chair at the ocular prosthetic people who make false eyes, and I've had, I don't know, nine or 10 false eyes over the years made. So I have pretty much learned the structure of an eye, the sclera, the iris, the pupil, and how they do their coloring. And so I tended to draw them a lot, like on my peaches. Horses and eyes, 2 things that I drew as a kid. So that was my very first tutorial, and then from there I started on cats, because I like cats. Though I do love... did I miss one? Trying to decide. I think I want this one. Indian throne. It looked too dark, and it was. Yes, so I did cat eye tutorials. Then on those tutorials, I actually finished like the cat's nose. So then I attempted some drawing on my own, failed miserably, went back to tutorials. So over the years, my good tutorials have been framed, and they're on the wall down in my craft room, labors of love. And then I've done a lot of coloring from stamps. I'll stamp something and then color it. I then went from the Albrecht Dürer, which in my mind, I did not see any justification for more than 60 pencils because you have the full range of light to dark that you achieve using water. So I still stand by that. That logic works for me today. But I, at some point, realized I needed to get the full set. If I was going to be doing these tutorials, I would need to get the Faber-Castell. And so I did. I just had those two sets. Boy, I should probably go back and look at my dates. I then believe that I found Bonnie Snowden, and she extended her pencils to Caran d'Ache Luminance, I believe was the next one to get. I bought them when they were a 72 set, and the portrait set came later. All right, there's another one done. I could go deeper. I think that I want to get darker. After the luminance, which I used the white buff titanium, it was then Derwent Artists. They're a very hard pencil. I have maybe 12 to 15 of the browns. She, ironically, I don't think uses them so much anymore. I've done some more recent live draws with her, and she uses Pablo's now. So I ended up with Pablo's, but not before about the Light Fast. So Light Fast came after the Luminance. Somewhere in there was the Inktense, because again, I like watercolor, and I loved the idea of, oops, I'm talking too much. I loved the idea of a permanent watercolor. And the ironic thing is, I have still yet to use them. I've swatched them, maybe. I know I've swatched the Albrecht Dürers. I just have been so enjoying colored pencils, which is funny because I was a watercolor person. I loved watercolor. But then I made the discovery of these very long, detailed, realistic. See how I just magically skipped moving to the next color, and I did too? Yeah, this is what's going to happen. So then I finally got the Light Fast, which Bonnie doesn't really use a lot of the Light Fast pencils, but I bought them all. I got those on a really good deal. I've probably mentioned this more than once. I got them from the Merry Artist in Oregon, the wood case. It's the only wood case set that I have. But the wood case was a special deal after they came out with the last chunk. I already had the tin of 72. Oh, the joys of not having a limited income, or having more disposable income. Now that we have a home, again, and we are retired, things are very different. Gone are the days when I can just see a special deal. I still think it was a good deal though. It was like $199 for all 100. So I still would not be able to do it today. The home eats up more, has more expenses than traveling on the road in a fifth wheel, living in Thousand Trails for just our membership each month, not even having to pay electricity. We did that for many years. Very, very low living expenses. So using these pencils is bringing back all those memories, making me revisit all of my transitioning into coloring. So after I did the Chris Chen drawing an eyeball, and I did a horse eye, I've done a deer eye, llamas. I ended up finishing their faces. I could not just, with a human eye, I'm great with stopping in the middle of drawing a human eye and just calling it good. Just one eye, no problem. But for animals, I just really wanted to see their whole smiling, finished faces. So a cheetah, I did a cheetah drawing. What was her name? It was not a Bonnie Snowden one. She still does tutorials. There's actually 2 gals other than Bonnie that I did their tutorials. I can't remember their name. So that's what got me started with the whole colored pencil deal. And after I bought my first budget set, the first budget set being Brute Funer squares, I had done a whole bunch of research, and I bought the macarons, the squares, and the Amazon Basics so that I could replicate as many of the 150 Prismacolors as I could, and I was able to use a comparison guide. I really liked, I bought Ellen Hull, is that right? And My Colorful Country Life has a free chart. She has a great free chart, and I used those and have got my pencils all organized. And then what did I do? In the very end, this was, now we're up to 2021, maybe even 2022. I bought the Prismacolors. They weren't even a great deal either. I think they were $119. So then I could do a direct color to color comparison. I got them all labeled, and then I promptly had to buy a backup set, because this set that had all the labels on was going to be reserved only for doing Chris Chen tutorials, but not using the Prismacolors, using my 3 sets. They're all in a book together, and they all have the identifying numbers of, like, a couple of them kind of cross over between 2 different Prismacolors. A couple of them you have to combine them, a couple of the inexpensive pencils together to get the version of Prismacolor color that I'm after. And I have a little cheat sheet chart that is very complicated. I love anything complicated. I am silly that way. Do you see how slow I color? I knew this was going to reveal my slowness. Doing these little images in this book is not so bad, but look, what time is it? We're at a half an hour, and I have gone the center and 3 petals. What I might be doing, I already knew when I started this that at the end of the 45 minutes, I might just decide that I will finish this flower on my own. So I will switch gears now, and I will do the other colors so you can see what the whole color arrangement will be. And sometime this week, I will sit down on my own time and we'll finish this very large flower. I'm just trying to brighten up the colors. I'm going to do one more bright pass. Yeah, this is the one that adds that vibrant blue. Okay, I am setting these. There are so many of them. I am going to just put them way over here. I am going to grab the purples. I do think it's going to take my whole time to get even just the color scheme identified for you. Okay. Once more, we have 6 from the lightest pink going into the violets. And then I have my surprise, I think, is with this one. Oh, hub is up, but I'm going to keep going. I do have 13 minutes left. So going with the lightest is light purple pink, and I see my label is rotated. I need to fix that. 128. And then middle purple pink, 125. Crimson, 134. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have the color that I should show you. We'll get to it today. Light red violet, 135. Oops. That's something dropping. Magenta, 133. And red violet, 194. So I'm using this in 2 places. The first place are these little tiny petal things. Don't know what they're called. I'm going to use the lightest 2. And I'll probably end up with the 3rd darkest. And this is small enough, I will do the whole thing. Let's get that a little bit darker. All right, so okay, lightest color. Might move that a little bit. Even though this is like a fantasy kind of to me, a cartoony type of a page, I still see that I want to leave a little bit of white. It's just habit. But I don't intend to have a little white in here. That's what made me think about that. All right, the next part that is going to be the pink to purple. I'm going to start with the darkest. And I am actually going to start like this petal because it has a full petal. The ones on this side are covered by other flowers. Not a single one of these, if I show you the tips, None of them are sharpened. So these have never been sharpened because they're not colors I would ever have used in an animal portrait. And now I'm just walking from the darkest to the lightest. I'm using light pressure right now, so it will at least be one more layer. Six pencils is a lot to hold in the hand. That looks like I have 3 more to go. So I might back this lighter color off, not put too much. I am eating away my white too quickly. A second lightest, or the 5th of these 6 pencils. And then I'm not sure if I like the way I did this one. My sample, the whole outer edge is this lightest pink. I actually can adjust it a little bit if I choose to. I'm going to grab an eraser here. Okay, I think I'm going to like that better. Now I am just walking back using the darker. This is number 2. Just want to make sure that yep. Tried to keep them in the correct order. down to the last two. These two are the ones that turn very violet. And the darkest one is red-violet. I am now awkwardly holding these. No, I think it's this way. So that's going to be my purple. The purple combo. I've got one last combo setting this whole pile of 6 pencils. And the last combo is only 5. And the 5 are the reds. So all right. We've got, this one's not so easy, these colors. Rose Carmine 124. Pink Carmine 127. And do you notice that that pink Carmine is in all caps? And it has these little tiny stars versus 124 has 3 big stars and the one above it, 226, has tiny stars, but this is a totally different font and it's all caps. So I'm not sure if this is an older generation pencil. They all came in the same case. I've bought new versions of the browns, blacks, and grays, but never any of the reds. So I'm not sure if that's an older or a newer. Okay, after the pink Carmine 127, we have alizarin crimson 226, madder 142, and dark red 225. So those 5 are going to be used in 2 places. And I'm going to start with the darkest. Of the 5, this is the only one that has been sharpened. I must have used it for some purpose, dark red, at some point. So I'm going to do the under petals just because I can, and I am making these little holes because it's a fantasy flower and I can make it be whatever I say it needs to be. And as you can see here, the amount of the under petal showing is going to vary wildly. We are at 45, so as soon as I finish this, you will see what this flower is supposed to look like. I probably should have made myself do that purple petal over here, even though it is covered up. I have one little bit of pink. And this right here is why I said that it's probably going to take 4 sittings to get this done, and it may be that I'll even have to go for a couple of 1-hour sessions, which I am happy to do. All right, that shows you all 4 color combos. Yellow, blue, purple, purple, red, red. And on that note, I will let you guys go. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And I will meet you all right back here tomorrow. We're either going to be doing Holbein, this little flower, and that little bit, or we're going to be doing Light Fast, which is this flower. And again, I've already pulled all of the colors, so they're ready to go. And if I'm really good tonight, I will finish this flower off, so it will be done and we can see it finished tomorrow. I will see you all then.